Hey, y'all, listen. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, y'all. Welcome into the building for Tuesday Trending Topics. It's so nice to see everybody out there. And tonight is called Messy in Madness. Messy in Madness. I think it's messy that these stars, knowing that you can go to jail for not paying your taxes, and yet you turn around and you always get in a story that they owe an astronomical amount of taxes, back taxes. And I'm saying to myself, how are you out here going on lavish vacations, buying Birkin bags and all kinds of other material things, but you're not paying your taxes? You living in a big $1 million home. Let me tell you something. Where Teresa Giudice lives out there in Jersey, woo, pricey is an understatement. It's a very prestigious area. Extremely prestigious. I'm talking wealth. I'm talking money. And back in my day, they called it old money. That means the people have money in their family for generations. Teresa Giudice, I think, is new money. You out here with this new husband, you're flaunting and stunting. He owed $2 million in change in taxes, and then the other portion is hers. Now, Teresa already been to jail once. Does she want to go back? Because you better talk to Peter Thomas and all the others that came before him. They will lock you up over owing some taxes. I saw that story and I said, unbelievable. I'm not getting with nobody. They say there's another saying, you could do bad all by yourself. I'm not getting with nobody and then we both bad with money. That's a recipe for disaster. He owed $2 million in change in taxes. We're going to talk about it. Messy. Then we got Joe Biden's, which is a little bit of messy and complete madness. I said Biden. I meant Joe Budden. Listen, let me tell you something. I did this story last year sometime on my channel where, the neighbor was complaining because in their Ring doorbell, they saw him butt bone naked in his birthday suit. And the neighbor said that the kids saw him. Not a stitch of clothing on. Well, now other neighbors are complaining. They're complaining about, the fact that he's doing that podcast from his home. They're complaining about the noise. And they're complaining once again that he liked to walk around in his birthday suit. Now, he claimed he sleepwalks. Well, sir, and I said this when I did that video last time, you need to walk around or go to bed with several layers of clothing on. It's one thing to sleepwalk, but you just so happen to be naked when you sleepwalking. The neighbors had enough and they want him out. And my thing is, why doesn't he have a studio for this podcast? Why is he doing it out of his home? Yeah, Diva's doing hers out of her home, but I'm not on the level of a Joe Budden. And if you are going to do it out of your home, you should have a freestanding home. Not be in a co-op or something like that. Madness. He's another one where he lives out there in Jersey. It's a very prestigious area. And the neighbors had enough because they are raising their families. And they got to worry about you and your podcast and you walking around any given moment with no clothes on. Yeah, he said he was sleepwalking, and that's fine. But if you sleepwalking, did you go to bed with some pajamas on? So you're going to decide to sleepwalk and you derobe yourself, you take off all your clothes, and that's why I said when he go to sleep, he needs to sleep in layers and layers and layers of clothes in case he goes sleepwalking. You're sleepwalking and subjecting us to your naked body. No, we're good. Want to see you walk around naked? So you walking around naked, you doing this podcast. They said he's smoking weed. They're over it. We're going to talk about it. Then we got this pastor. Listen, when people want to hide their bad behavior under a title, it pisses me off. If you're a teacher and with bad behavior, you're a pastor with bad behavior. And a pastor to me with bad behavior is worse than just a regular person that is not a pastor. You of all people should know better. This pastor done broke in one of the parishioners' house, stalking her, looking in her bedroom, the kids' bedroom, and all kind of other stuff. Now he going to jail. So now we can't even go worship in the church without some creepy person watching us and looking at us. One time I had somebody, it was like, just me going to church, do my every little thing of going to church. And one day they approached me and said something. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you've been watching me for weeks? This is crazy. You a little stalker. I was like, I don't like that. Knew my car and everything. Kind of a little crazy. Sometimes it's a thin line between somebody who just admiring you and they not crazy and somebody being a straight up stalker. It's messy. But we're going to talk about it. Tonight's trending topics, and the title is called Messy and Madness, okay? Messy and Madness. We got Teresa's tax trouble. Joe Budden, his neighbors are annoyed and they're suing. And we got the creepy pastor. Y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is Messy and Madness. And like I said, Teresa into her husband, pay your taxes, or y'all both going to be in jail. And Teresa, you done been down this road before. Are you dumb, stupid, or both? Joe Budden, put some clothes on. Go buy yourself a freestanding house. So go do something different, but stop terrorizing these people. That creepy pastor, they need to lock him up for life. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva, choo choo.
Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Wayne. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button. Oh, Diva, also, Teresa can't blame Joe and Melissa for this one.
That part. She another one don't like to take accountability, but this one is all hers and that husband of hers. So listen, the first story I'm going to go ahead and start with. What story do I want to start with? I guess I'll start with.
Let's get the two Dumber and Dumber out the way first.
Wait, oh, now you know what? I'm going to do this, Pastor, because I'm going to get this video off my screen because sometimes it holds up my video and then I'll do them next. Thank you, Julius. So let's do this, Mega Pastor. This is insane. Let me share screen. Let me hope this is the right one. Yeah, this is the right one.
Home invasion. A man with a flashlight enters a single mom's house and ends up caught on her security camera. And when she looked at the video, she knew who it was right away. Here's why.
It's terrifying. A man caught on security tape breaking into a home. What made this even more shocking is the identity of the intruder. It was 43-year-old Marie Columna's pastor. There he was in her kitchen, clearly identifiable.
You would never think a pastor would do anything bad to anyone.
When you follow God's vision.
And it's not just any church. 49-year-old Sergio Guardia was a pastor at a mega church, the 24,000-member Thomas Road Baptist Church in Lynchburg, Virginia. Maria and her husband were very close with the pastor and his wife, as seen in this photo. What was Pastor Guardia like?
Very charismatic, extremely nice.
But after she divorced her husband, Marie says the pastor's behavior became increasingly odd.
He started just showing up to my house. My kids wouldn't be home. It'd be in the middle of the day. And he would just show up and bring me groceries. He did that a handful of times. Sometimes I would get home and he'd be right on my porch. So I couldn't even avoid him.
But nothing prepared her for this. Surveillance video, which was taken while she was away for the weekend with her 2 kids.
I just couldn't process that it was Sergio.
Lo and behold, he came back the next day.
I was watching the live feed of him entering my daughter's bedroom.
She called the cops, and you can see them with guns drawn. They even use a police dog in their search, but the pastor had already fled. Guardia was charged with burglary and stalking.
Guardia has been found guilty, and a senior pastor confirms he's no longer employed by the mega church.
How disgusting is that? And I wonder if his wife is going to divorce him now. Hold on one second. Let's give a little bit more. So mega church pastor, thank God she wasn't home. Caught on CCTV breaking into female parishioners' home, wandering through teens' bedrooms. He's a sicko. A mega church pastor faces jail for stalking a female congregation member. Let me just try to pause this. Hold on one second. A mega church pastor faces jail time for stalking a female congregation member after being caught twice breaking into her home on CCTV. Maria, 43, says she's still afraid of Sergio, 49, a minister at the renowned Thomas Road Baptist Church in Virginia. Sergio was convicted by a jury last week on 2 counts of burglary and 1 count of stalking, according to Lynchburg Circuit Court, and faces up to 10 years in jail. The mega church in Lynchburg, founded by Jerry Falwell Sr. and affiliated with Liberty University, is one of the most celebrated Baptist churches in the country and is affiliated with the scandal hit Southern Baptist. It is affiliated with the scandal hit Southern Baptist Convention. That's him. Marie, 43, a service coordinator for early intervention, says she reported him increasingly bizarre behavior leaving the church in 2016, but nothing was ever done about it. The Lynchburg woman is speaking about the 2023 break-ins caught on security camera footage. I was out of the state with my children visiting a friend, and I got a notification on my phone that a person was in my house, Marie recalled. The footage captured at 11:30 p.m. on November 10th revealed he was walking through the door and creeping around the kitchen. Every light was off, and he was using a flashlight on his phone. It was very clear that he knew exactly where he was and that he had been in my house before. He was wearing a sweatshirt and jeans, appeared to notice the camera and ran away. Marie, who had installed security cameras about a month before due to a series of neighborhood break-ins, said she called the police the next morning. I was coming back Sunday, so we agreed I called the officer when I returned home. And we do the report, she recorded. I wanted to press charges. The next night, while still out of town, Marie received another alert, this time showing him entering her backyard. The camera feed revealed that he entered through the basement into her daughter's bedroom. The entire basement is my daughter's bedroom, which is like a den, she explained. Marie, who has a 17-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son, was in shock. He got in the same way the night before, she said. My daughter has left that door unlocked before, and her friends used to come over. The key is easy to find right when you walk in on a shelf at eye level. Well, why would you have it there? Police later confirmed there was no sign of forced entry, leaving Marie with a strong suspicion. Either the door was unlocked or he had a key. Fearing for her safety, Marie called the police again. I reported I was having a break-in, and it was Sergio, and he was currently in my house. Officers arrived, gun drawn, and searched every inch of the house, including bedrooms, closets, and even kitchen cabinets. They also sent a dog to search the property, but he wasn't found. They searched the yard and the neighbor's yards, Marie explained. When the police showed Marie a photo of him, the connection was immediate. There was no question it was him. Within 2 hours of the break-in, Sergio was charged and arrested, she said. I never thought he'd be breaking into my house. Marie, who had a long-standing history with him, described their initial friendship as close. She met him when she got married in 2007 and attended his Spanish language church service at Thomas Road Baptist Church. After separating from her husband in 2011, he and his wife encouraged her to return to church, promising support. But Gardina's behavior soon became unusual, she said. He was supportive of me being separated from my husband, but he was telling me that I shouldn't be talking to men after church or in church, she recalled. He saw how many male friends I had on Facebook and told me to delete and block them. After finalizing her divorce in 2015, she said his behavior left her more worried. He started showing up at my house with groceries, but only when my kids weren't home. I never asked for help, but he would come anyway, she explained. He began visiting randomly, and even when I told him I wasn't comfortable, he continued coming. She says his visits escalated. At times, I would pull up to my house, and he was already on my steps. It felt like there was no way of getting away from him, she said. The situation reached a breaking point when he allegedly confessed his feelings for her. He told me he was in love with me and wanted a relationship. I said I didn't even want him at my house, let alone a relationship. I told him not to come back, but he did. She moved multiple times in attempts to get away from him. However, she says, he managed to find her each time, even showing up uninvited. I came home in the middle of the day and found him in my living room on my laptop. When I confronted him, he gaslit me, saying he wasn't doing anything wrong and acted excited to see me, she recalled. He wouldn't leave until I picked up my phone and said I was calling the police. Despite these encounters, she never reported him at the time due to fear of his influence. He's not just a pastor. He's a pastor at Thomas Road Baptist Church, a powerful and wealthy church. I didn't believe I had any power against him, especially with no evidence, she explained. She eventually moved to her current home, but in the years leading up to the break-ins, she noticed suspicious activity on her online accounts. I started getting notifications that a new device had logged into my Yahoo mail. When I checked the IP addresses, they were linked to Liberty University, she said. Marie later discovered that a Liberty email address was listed as a recovery option to her account, which she believed allowed him to access her information. Once she removed it, the login attempt stopped. After years without direct contact, Marie was shocked to see him on her security camera footage. I never imagined he would go this far, she said, because he had no prior convictions. They gave him a $5,000 bond. I think he only spent 4 days in jail, and he's been out ever since. With a pre-sentencing hearing scheduled for August 20th, Marie remains fearful despite a protective order in place against the disgraced pastor. I don't think he cares about anything, she said. He, Maria says, is being backed by top administration at the church. Executive Pastor Matt Willington was a witness of character for him at the bond hearing when she testified. She shared hope that her story will reach him, will reach his blind supporters, emphasizing the significance of the jury's decision. I want them to hear my story, especially the fact that the jury found him guilty on all 3 counts and that he's now considered a felon, she said. I want them to be scared. I want them to feel the same fear that anyone should have when facing the consequences of criminal activity. It's typically women and children who are affected, and I believe it's incredibly rare for those responsible to be held accountable. The Thomas Road Baptist Church did not immediately respond to requests for a comment. Ooh, he is certified crazy, but I wonder where his wife was through all of this. In my opinion, your thoughts?
This man is disgusting and disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't understand people. I don't know. This is crazy. To literally break into somebody's house to confess love when you already married and you a pastor. To follow this lady every time she moves. To log into her email, stalking her notification. Like, there are so many things she could have had him charged for. I wish she would have went on and started the process a lot earlier. It probably would have saved her a lot of heartache. She may not have had the proof, but they would have found the proof. Because this man, no matter how many, I don't know how many people he probably did this to, that had stayed quiet because they was thinking he was so powerful.
Mm.
I hope her voice is giving them a platform where they can let their voices be heard too. Because I'm pretty sure this was not his first time doing this. He felt comfortable.
Mm. Yeah, he had a key. He made a key. This man is sick. He done made a key because she did say something about leaving the key. This man is sick. Savannah, your thoughts?
I had the same thoughts and concerns as, in my opinion, and why this woman felt so scared and intimidated to report this pastor. Now, Liberty Church in Lynchburg, Virginia, is one of the most powerful entities out there. And when I say the most powerful, is they are also one of the authors of Project 2025, one of the biggest supporters of 47, and one of the main drivers of why Roe versus Wade was appealed or is no
Shut up.
longer law. Liberty University, Jerry Falwell, and I think we all heard of this case because I know I seen the movie on Netflix, and the case made the scandal made headlines for years, where Jerry Falwell Jr. and his wife were using the pool boy to get physical with his wife while Jerry Falwell was in the corner watching them be physical. And this was, and y'all could look it up because he was the president of Liberty University at that time, backing 47 during his first term. And he is currently Jerry Falwell Jr. It ended up being a huge scandal because the pool boy, he turned them in because he wasn't allowed to be a young male and party and do his things because he was constantly being approached by this couple. And so they and it's a great movie. If you've seen it on Netflix, it's actually a very good movie. And I say all that because Liberty University made that scandal. He stepped down and they got rid of the scandal. The pool boy got some compensation, went on his way down in Miami because that's where they are. They kept meeting these young men while the wife, she had a fetish for young men. And and he is now going to be one of 47 cabinet picks coming up here in the next month. So Liberty University is very powerful, and I can see why this woman was afraid to report a pastor. So they have decades of scandals like this, of intimidating women, especially vulnerable women. Now that she was alone, and but I still. I just question why she didn't do more to protect herself. Camera's best invention ever. I have them in and around my home as well. And I'm glad that this went down the way that it did and exposed him to his family and to the community.
Thank you for that information, Savannah. I appreciate you. Julius, your thoughts?
Ooh. The Lord is saying, quit being a hypocrite, my fellow children, or else ye be exposed. Has the mighty has fallen, but you know what, the current occupant, he loves the hypocrite, thieves, and houndrels. But they have the Lord's working overtime. Diva, question. Is he currently serving time behind bars?
No, they waiting. The story said, Julia said, waiting. He's waiting for his sentencing. He's out on bond,
Okay.
and the
Huh.
bond was only $5,000.
So these wannabe mega crazy pastors are having the Lord work overtime and exposing their true character. Because I do remember the Falwell story, and I said to myself, why don't y'all just separate? She can go ahead be a cougar and chase the young fellas, and you can go ahead and find you another filly. Boom, boom, signed, still delivered, done. Anywho, like the saying goes, what's done in the dark always comes to light. This woman was not interested. This man followed her wherever she was. Honey, sir, you ain't that fine nor that cute. And you got you a whole wife and kids. And you think you have the holy milk? I know you ain't got it popping like that. Now look at you. You a whole felon. Well, give him 45, whatever his name is. You may be his next Secretary of State. Who knows?
Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, I believe this man is a charismatic predator.
Mm.
And these churches, they use the Lord to suck these people in, saying, well, the Lord let me know. And the Lord this. And the Lord wants you to do this. The Lord would be okay with this and all this stuff. And I bet because she said her and her husband, they was having problems, the divorce now, whatever, probably counseled with the pastor and telling them all the business, well, he this and that. So the pastor's sucking all this in. First of all, if you ain't got some initials behind your name, you don't need to be doing no counseling to nobody. Some people want to run to the church and to the pastor. He ain't got no training in jack. You need to have people who are professional, who know what they're doing. They don't know the other one, the husband, they don't know you. But I think he sat there and sucked in everything that the man wasn't doing and slid right on in there. My thing is that, what had he planned to do when he got in there? I mean, did he know she was away? This is why I say a charismatic predator. Who would come back? He saw himself on camera. Yeah, I mean, but he came back. This man has an urge, and it doesn't sound like nothing was going to stop it. Anytime you got the nerve to go to somebody's house, what if she had been home? And she thought that intruder was in. Pow, pow. So, yeah, I believe this man's a predator. And like they say, this ain't his first rodeo. And I don't find this hard to believe. The same way I don't find it hard to believe about T.D. Jakes and some of these other pastors. They get this power and they control people. Tell them the Lord this, the Lord that, or whatever. For people, I would say, before you go counseling to a pastor and stuff like that, the same way you may check out your doctor or whatever, you need to check out your pastor, see what kind of training he got to be able to tell you something. I know you can use the Bible and everything, but everybody ain't trying to go like that. Now, if you have that title that you're a pastor, bishop, whatever you want, whatever clergyman, and you got some education behind it, where you took some training in counseling or psychology or something, then you can come. I know what I'm talking about because I know some pastors that did it. Tell them the Lord said, the Lord showed me all this BS. I'm done.
Oh, Katrina, your thoughts?
Skip me on this one, Diva. I just got back in here.
No problem. Ooh, I will say this. I'm leaning towards some people in the chat that said, one, if I wasn't going to tell anybody at the church, she said she was friends with him and his wife before her and her husband split. They was like couple friends. So my thing is, I would have first told his wife something. And listen, what happened is definitely not right. But there's something missing in this. Like, usually when there's couples are friends, it's the wives are friends, and then the husbands are friends, and then y'all are a couple friends. I would have felt comfortable telling the wife, like, yo, your husband is over here dropping off groceries. Even if the wife would have never spoke to me anymore, she would have definitely got her husband to stop. This thing is messy. And you kept moving and moving and moving. And I understand, because it was a mega church. It's almost like these celebrities, how, you know, the celebrity is protected. Everybody around them know that the celebrity is a whole menace to society, but, you know, nobody is going to believe you. They're going to protect the menace to society, even if they do believe you. Diva, a lot of those church people are having mad affairs with each other, aka swingers. Yeah, I feel like something, it's more to this. It's more to this. But yeah, and somebody, I don't know who put it in there. She put cameras up for a reason. But if you was putting cameras up and your daughter was used to leaving her door open because it was the basement, that was the den, you got to speak to your 17-year-old daughter. Say, this man is crazy. You don't leave no key nowhere, and you can't ever leave that door open. It's a lot. I'm gonna see how much time he gets. I'll stay connected to this story. And now, in my opinion, saying the wife knew, I'm sure the wife wouldn't have believed her. I don't know. It's just, it's messy. And sometimes you even if you don't want to admit to yourself, you kind of know who you with. You know who your partner is. You know, you get a clue, like, you know, something is amiss. I don't know, but I'm gonna stay connected to see how much time he actually gets. You want
Can
to
I
say
say something real quick?
Yeah.
Like Opinion said, I don't think they would have believed her. And not only would they not have believed her, she would have been the villain. They'd have made her look like she was a whore. I've seen it.
Whew,
Why ain't you right? They would have said, you left your husband to get my husband. I believe the wife knew. Because notice she didn't say, I didn't tell the wife. She didn't say she did neither. But I believe if she was that uncomfortable before she moved several times, she would have reached out to that wife. Notice they ain't friends no more. She stopped going to the church. It's the reason.
Yeah. Okay, so let me move into the next story with this Teresa Giudice. You know, I don't understand these people not paying their taxes. And you know, I was saying today, I gotta say this. You know, there's a saying in you know, when I was growing up, that said you gotta, there's only two things you gotta do. They used to say, stay black and pay your taxes.
Giudice faces new financial. Teresa Giudice is once again in financial distress. Following the revelation that her husband, Luis Ruiz, is facing a $2.5 million tax lien, it has emerged that Giudice herself owes $303,889.20 to the state. Details surrounding this debt remain unclear, but many fans are unsympathetic, recalling Giudice's previous legal troubles. In 2015, she served time for fraud linked to her ex-husband Joe Giudice's financial issues. Public reaction has been harsh. Many fans commented negatively on social media. I don't feel sorry for her at all. You reap what you sow, one user stated, while another remarked, who was surprised by this? She made her bed. A third commenter noted, worst taste in men ever, and another quipped, how shocking. Said no one ever. Overall, the consensus is that Giudice's circumstances were predictable given her past, with questions about Ruiz's income circulating in recent years. Compounding the situation, party planner Lorianne Serna accused Ruiz of failing to pay her over $300,000 for organizing his business ventures party. She publicly called out Ruiz, asking Luis Ruiz, how do we get paid? Additionally, Serna has claimed she is being pressured to remain silent about the unpaid debts. I'm being told to stand down and shut up. I'm sick of shutting up, she expressed in a recent post. Despite her financial woes, Giudice has expressed happiness in her marriage to Rulans. In a podcast appearance on Undressed with Paul and Patrick, she discussed their astrological compatibility, noting that both are Taurus, which she believes enhances their relationship.
You with a whole bum and you think because y'all share a sign, you know, child, the people in the foolery for me, I can't do it. So Real Housewives of New Jersey's Teresa Giudice husband Louis owe $3 million in taxes. Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa and her husband Louis owe millions of dollars in taxes. In Touch can confirm. The Bravo Levity 52 and the businessman 49 were issued more than $3 million in tax debts, according to online records viewed by In Touch on Tuesday, March 25th. Teresa owes about $300,000 in change, while her husband owes $2.5 million in taxes. And you know, your bill and your husband's bill is one and the same. Louis previously received a tax debt for $163,000 in change in December 2024. Both of these debts and Teresa's debt are still open cases in New Jersey, according to the records. Teresa is no stranger to dealing with debt. The reality star and her first husband, Joe Giudice, filed bankruptcy in 2009, claiming they owed creditors more than $10 million. However, the former spouses allegedly conspired to defraud lenders to illegally obtain mortgages. In 2013, Teresa and Joe, 52, were indicted on 39 counts, including bankruptcy fraud, mail and wire fraud, and bank fraud. Teresa served 11 months out of a 15-month sentence for mail, wire, and bankruptcy fraud. She was released in December 2015. I wish I could do everything differently. She wished she could do everything differently, but now she's in the same circumstances with a new husband. I mean, some people got to be just dumb, stupid, and both. The Standing Strong author told Us Weekly in October 2014. But then again, maybe not, because this is a life lesson that I need to learn and will learn and will teach my children for the rest of my life. Is she serious? Just as Judge Salas told me she expected me to do. Later in 2022, Teresa said she believed the courts made an example out of her by sending her to prison. I know in my heart I was not supposed to go there. I know I only went because I'm in the public eye, she admitted. Listen, I shouted out to the world. I signed 2 contracts that Joe was flipping for 2 homes he was buying. That's all I did. I knew nothing about what he was doing. I mean, I have nothing to hide. Like, I did my time already, you know. Teresa and Joe's bankruptcy case was dismissed in 2018, but they were ordered to pay restitution to the IRS and New Jersey Department of Treasury. Meanwhile, Joe served 41 months in prison for bankruptcy fraud from March 2016 to March 2019. He was deported to his native Italy following his release, but later moved to the Bahamas in 2021. Teresa and Joe, who shared daughters Gia, 23, Gabriella, 20, Melania, 19, and Adriana, 15, announced their split in December 2019 after 20 years of marriage. Their divorce was later finalized in September 2020. The TV personality moved on with Louis in July 2020 after meeting him on vacation on the Jersey Shore. The two got engaged in 2021 and tied the knot in August 2022. And that wedding was absolutely out of control, ridiculous. And you owe taxes? Before she married Louis, Teresa told Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live that they were not planning on signing a prenuptial agreement. I mean, I would sign a prenup, you know, if he said so. I'm so very easy about that, she explained. He definitely has more than me. I would never take anything from him. I'm so not like that. Throughout her romance with Louis, Teresa hasn't shied away from defending her relationship from the critics, including her Real Housewives of New Jersey co-stars. Back in May 2024, she fired back at castmate Margaret Joseph's claim that Louis had pissed Teresa's money away. B, you don't even know what you're talking about, Teresa said of the claim during an appearance on Tori Spelling's Misspelling podcast. She's not even in my house. She's putting out a false narrative out there. If he has more money than you, he should have been able to pay his taxes and yours. This is ridiculous. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So Teresa can't be dumb and stupid all the time. I thought we learned a lesson from Joe getting her locked up. To check her finances, and I feel like Teresa's one of the ones that just keep bumping her head. She can't
Mm,
stop bumping it because she falls head over heels for these men that don't mean her no good. I think Lewis knew what he was doing when he got with her. He knew she was gonna be a sucker, and he was like, "I'm gonna marry this sucker." And I think he told her everything she wanted to hear. I don't think he had no money for real coming into the marriage, but he pretended. And I think he's defrauding his company, and he's gonna be sued up on charges too. And I just hope he don't drag Teresa down with him. But if she dumb enough to keep on marrying these suckers, then I guess she better go down with them.
oh God, it's a shame. Savannah.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me
Mhm.
twice, shame on me. This at this point, she's the problem. I don't know anything about Teresa. I've never watched one episode of the New Jersey franchise. I just don't understand the privilege of it all, where you can go to sleep and knowing that you owe $3 million worth of taxes to the government after you just did a year and a half in jail, separated from your children. I don't understand why these, especially housewives of these friends, they live this fake fairy tale of a lifestyle, and yet when your reality is all in shambles, I can't even sleep, and I'm constantly going, knowing that I paid like all the bills and everything, but I have to go back. Did the light bill come out? Did the water bill? Like, even now when it's tax season, I'm waiting on how much do I owe the IRS so I can get that off of me, so I can have some peace of mind, and knowing that she's gonna be slammed in the social media streets for the same mistake again. There's going to be no sympathy or empathy for your foolishness and your stupidity, because at this point you're the problem. So I say that she needs to go back in. I'm just, I don't understand this woman whatsoever, but she's a fool, and the problem is her.
Woo, Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with Savannah, and in my opinion, that whole family is shiesty from the brother on up, because he
Mm.
was flipping houses, wasn't even his houses. They it's something. That whole family is pretty shiesty. And girl, you know you went to prison. You came out as a bodybuilder doing whatever you was doing in these contests and whatsoever, and then you came out and got the same type of man that put you in prison before. You mean to tell me you didn't check nothing? That's five people you don't mess with. That's Internal Revenue Service and Sally Mae. Cause they definitely coming for their money. And they don't care how they get it. You can have one penny. Sally Mae gonna get that money. And IRS. So I hope he got, well, he can't have too much because they gotta pay back. But they got to have, what's Karen say? You got to have millions to owe millions. So uh good luck. They just crazy. Good luck. Ain't no way I'd be caught up in no more scandals like that. That's all I got, D.
Julius, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. So I want to give an answer to something. Yeah, she's both dumb and stupid.
Mm, mm, mm.
She's both dumb and stupid. And she hooted and hollered that her sister in law did this, that her sister in law did that, and that her sister in law was this crazy, irresponsible person, and all of that. But you were still below the surface doing wrong. Teresa, you're 50 semi years old. You already been clinked up once. If you don't pay this 3,000 or something, you're gonna get clinked up again. You need to ditch this douchebag pig, and you need to take off the blinders and smarten up. She can't blame her sister-in-law for this one. This is on her.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, she might be dumb and stupid, but she's stuck on stupid.
Mm.
I don't believe this woman has served one hard day in prison.
Okay, I'm sitting
If
up.
the
Go ahead.
prison experience was rough, like it is for most people of color,
Right.
if she had to go through the things that people go through in prison, she came out not wanting to go back. If she goes back in, she's going back in for what she was in before.
Oh my God.
So she ain't learned nothing. Everything that glitter ain't gold.
Come on
and
now.
she see money in these men. And it sounds like they gonna have to do what do you do, like before you marry somebody, do an audit or something, like, you know, like, hey, do you pay your taxes? You know, like you say, how do you get along with your family and stuff like that? Because when you marry them, and now look at her problem. They didn't say she owe whatever. I think they said they owe $3 million. Now, how do you come out and dig the same hole again? This is not smart. And she's talking about, she said she shouldn't have gone because she was a celebrity. You ain't got it that good. You are a reality star. You ain't no big celebrity. What's his name? Snipes. He went to jail. You think you're the only one that didn't pay your taxes and they're gonna make an example out of you? No.
Don't forget Ronald Isley. And don't forget that's what they got Al Capone on, was tax evasion.
So I mean, you know, this is like, she's stuck on stupid. This is what you call insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. When she's doing it over and over again and she's getting the same result. So join the crew in prison. Join back to your old friends, if you had any in there.
I appreciate you, Wayne. Whoo, child. I wouldn't even be able to sleep. $3 million in taxes.
Oh, Diva, can I share this one quick thing? If I was her brother, well, if I was especially her sister-in-law, I would be belly laughing.
Yeah. See, that's the problem with falling out with your family, because now you can't even go to your brother and say, do me a solid, give me $500,000, $1 million, something. Messy boots. I'm going to go ahead and roll into
He wouldn't
this.
do it anyway, Diva.
Oh, you say he wouldn't give it to her?
No, he wouldn't do it anyway. He didn't take care of his mama and daddy when they were dying.
Well, yeah. Child. All right, let me go ahead and roll into this last story. Joe Budden. The neighbors are sick of him. They're suing him. They want him to get out at this point. They're fed up. And I think that anybody in any neighborhood, you shouldn't have to be subjected to this nonsense. So Joe Budden sued. Neighbors had enough. News streaking, weed smoking, podcast gotta go. Okay, they over it. So Joe Budden is being dragged into court by two neighbors who claim he tried to enter their place while naked and has been causing a ruckus in the building with his podcast. TMZ Hip Hop obtained a complaint filed by attorney Thomas on behalf of John and another person who claimed Budden has had his podcast co-host Melissa Ford and the Condo Association have engaged in a campaign of intimidation and retribution after they raised complaints about the disruption from Budden's recording its highly rated podcast in the building. The two neighbors both claimed they confronted Budden about the excessive noise from the podcast and complained about Budden and company smoking weed in the condo's common area, leaving ashes on the property and creating a hazardous health situation for their young daughter. That's him. That's his podcast, people, okay? The neighbors said they even filed a complaint with the condo association, leading to Budden firing back and accusing them of making racially charged remarks toward him. They say Budden even doubled down and claimed to have a recording of the alleged racism. John says he called his bluff and told them to produce the audio, which they say they still hasn't surfaced. Take a listen real quick. The couple also cites on an episode of the podcast from October 19, 2024, which they said involved the host deliberately playing loud music and simulated pow-pows and sirens lasting more than 8 minutes. He's being a jerk.
Live. Joe Budden has got a criminal case that involves nudity. He was at his apartment building earlier this month and somehow walked out of his unit and was naked. And walked to a neighbor's door, knocked on it. It was a woman who has kids in there. She called the cops. So Joe Budden has a defense to this that he talked about on a podcast.
I just sleptwalked somewhere that I shouldn't have sleptwalked. And you know how I sleep.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Butt ass. Nice naked ass. Good naked sleepwalking. I just did it again. Nobody can go through this stuff but me. It's only me. It's only me. So you got to deal with that. You got everything. You got to deal with what comes with that.
Okay, so here's my question to you. You're a lawyer. He said he was sleepwalking. There was no intention to go out naked. Good defense or not?
Oh, absolutely good defense. But you better have some history of sleepwalking before.
But if you do, it seems to me you don't have the intent to go out and create kind of a lewd.
At worst, it would be negligence because you should be able to put things on the door to stop you from sleepwalking outside. But that would be a very small crime. I mean, you wouldn't. That would be largely a defense other than negligence.
But you know, it's sort of like Ambien, where sometimes people do. I mean, yeah. I ended up on the floor. And my dogs were eating rice off my chest.
I passed out.
I had no idea about this.
I had spaghetti all over me when I woke up on Ambien. So yes. Okay. But I sleep naked and I definitely do not walk into the hallway.
Okay, enough. We're a mess.
Is that too much?
A mess.
Hi, I'm Tiffany from St. Louis. I don't know Christmas caroling.
If it's not sleepwalking, what is it? That's too weird.
It's almost like,
why?
Your Honor, why would I do that?
Exactly.
On the same episode, they say Budden refers to the neighbors, and diss them on the podcast. They also say Budden misrepresented his alleged attempt to enter their residence while naked on December 4th, as he joked and dismissed the incident publicly. The neighbors included screenshots from a door cam they said shows a new Budden in the hallway. This is it's insanity. Budden was subsequently temporarily barred from the condo, but they say he returned a week later.
Have you spoken to Joe? How is Joe?
Joe was well. I have not. I checked the stories. He's being rich somewhere. I'm saying he's somewhere out the country. I don't know.
So he's out the country for the new year?
For the new year, yes.
Okay. So, you've known Joe for a while. You guys have been working together for a while. Mm-hmm. You could attest to his character, right?
Yes.
Is this, what kind of person is he?
Before you go, stop. Here's the thing. Joe is my man. I love Joe. Joe changed my life. And look where we at. I'm out here living, new cars and stuff like that. I don't know what you're going to ask me. I don't know what you want to talk about. I don't. Joe changed my life. We living good. I'm living good. He's living good. That's all it's about. I feel like, how can I even stand here and comment on my man when he bestowed me and blessed me with some of the greatest things in life? Joe was great, man. He looked out for somebody that he knew for a long time, brought me on board, and was able to help me with my rebrand. So I got nothing but positive to say about him. Positive things, great things.
Right.
Let him enjoy his new year, man. I don't know what's going on. To be honest, I don't. What I'm saying is that the movement is strong. He's the pod father for a reason.
The pod father?
The pod father for a reason.
What does that mean?
That's what he is. I don't know what it means. It came from somewhere from them. I'm just jacking it. It sounded good. It flowed well. What I'm saying is that business don't stop. A lot of times, you hear things, and this is the industry that we're in, where people try to put smut and do things in your name, and a lot of things be racially motivated, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But I don't want to get into that because it's none of my business, and I don't really know what's going on. All I'm saying is that right now, the pod will never stop. The pod gonna keep going. Joe will never stop. He gonna keep going.
Can't keep going if he get locked up. So Joe's lawyer, Nima, tells TMZ Hip Hop they believe the lawsuit is a little more than a money grab attempt by a person we believe to be racist. It seems like fans can still expect to hear that new Joe Budden audio tag until further notice. This is a mess. In my opinion, what are your thoughts?
So the defense of him, I've been sleepwalking for years. It's not gonna work for him because they're right. He should have did something to prevent himself from coming out in the news. If you know that you've done this several times, then it's your obligation to stop yourself some kind of way. He ain't been to no doctors. He ain't tried to stop. He ain't put nothing in front of the door to try to stop him from doing it. Because essentially, when you're sleepwalking, you're doing the same thing that you normally would do. People that sleepwalk normally do the same thing that they would normally do. I just don't believe the sleepwalking thing is always the thing, because he was trying to get into somebody's apartment. Like, you weren't always trying to get into somebody's apartment when you was up. Why would you do that when you sleepwalking? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't buy that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people sleepwalking driving their car, but they drive the same route that they normally drive. He was trying to get into somebody else's house, but booty naked. I just think he's trying to act out. He's trying to troll these people because they upset with him and they don't want him to do that podcast there. So this is his way of getting back at them, and he's using the sleepwalking as an excuse. I just don't think it's gonna hold up in court. But good luck to him.
Thanks. Savannah, your thoughts?
I didn't find any humor in this story, and I don't understand why they were laughing. This woman, imagine coming up to your door looking through the peephole, and you see this a man completely nude, and you have children inside. I just don't find the humor in that, and his excuse that he's sleepwalking. I don't find that credible, and I don't think he'll win any legal arguments there. I wonder, is there an HOA? And there has to be an HOA in this type of building, because I don't feel like anybody's protecting her rights, because this can be considered harassment.
Yeah.
And she's, I wouldn't feel safe in this home, and he thinks he's taking it as a joke. And if I was a tenant, I would want him removed as well. And I know there are circumstances where the HOA can file to get someone banned from a community. And I think this type of this what action here, what he's doing, because it's not even accusation, because there's actual video of him walking around with no clothes on, and he is actually not doing anything. If he knew that he suffered from this, and I'm with you, Diva, go find a freestanding home to a community, do your podcast out there, do anything you want to, walk around the woods if you want to, but in a community where there's children, absolutely not. He needs to be removed from there.
Yeah, I agree with you. Katrina, your thoughts? Miss Vet, this is actually an updated story, so it's not old news. They're suing him now. First, they just complained. Now they're actually suing him. They want him out of the building. So I don't know what you mean by old news. It's not old news. Katrina, your thoughts? Okay, I can't hear Katrina. Okay, I hear you now.
Yeah, he's a nasty piece of specimen. First of
Yes,
all, if you know you're a sleepwalker, why aren't you wearing clothes? He's lying. He probably was high or something, allegedly. I don't believe nothing he's saying. Because you know when you're on them substances, you do some of the craziest mess. I don't believe nothing about him. He always trying to downgrade women and the black women at that. And yet still, you want somebody to look at you as being a good person. No, we seen your actions. We saw what you did to other women. We saw you probably had an urge and thinking that I mean, they're just sick. I don't blame him. I want him out of there too. And I don't even stay where he stay at. Because if you out there, you know you sleepwalk, you ain't got on no clothes, and then you knocking on somebody's door. He lying. Like in my opinion, it's Savannah saying he lying. And if he ain't lying, God forgive me, but I wouldn't trust him. But that's all I got.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
Kick his behind out. Period.
That part. He got to go. Even if my kids were older, it really wouldn't matter to me. I don't want to see him with no clothes on. This is my home. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is, so I don't know nothing about him or whatever, but sleepwalking is real. People sleepwalk and perform complex things, cook and all that stuff. So I think unless he has a history, a documented medical history that this happens, they may not, I don't know, they may not look at it, you know, but it is real. And if you got a good lawyer and good proof, who to say it's not? If a doctor says he has, you know, he has a sleep disorder. Okay. And putting on all these layers of clothes and putting on the sign. If you're sleepwalking, how you gonna look at the sign? How you gonna look at something? Don't sleepwalk. If you see this, you're sleepwalking. It's really something. If this is true, if he's true sleepwalker, these are things that can happen.
I'm gonna let you finish, Wayne, but let me say this. He said in his own podcast, right, that he sleeps with no clothes on and he knows he's a sleepwalker. Well, if you know you're a sleepwalker and you're not doing anything to prevent yourself from, leaving, then at least sleep with some clothes on. So people talk too much and in their own words is going to hang them up in the court. If you know you're a sleepwalker and you said yourself you sleep with no clothes on, then sleep with some clothes on. So at least when you sleepwalk, you'll have some clothes on. But go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I'm just saying it's real. I mean, like I said, I don't know this.
Sleepwalking is definitely real.
Yeah.
But
what I'm saying is that I don't want to cast judgment on this man. I don't even know who he is. To say, oh, you wasn't sleepwalking, and pass the judge. Oh, you should have had some clothes on if you know you sleepwalk. Well, if he doesn't sleepwalk all the time and it happens, and he's comfortable sleeping in the nude, okay. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, to me, when you live in a complex, even me in my development, there's rules with the association, and you doing a whole podcast where you have guests and all of that. Like I'm solo in my house, but you bringing guests to this development, you being loud, you smoking weed. They said in a common area, you leaving ashes everywhere. He's being a menace in that development. Even if for 1.2 seconds, I X out the fact that he's sleepwalking and being caught on the Ring camera. Ms. Van, I'm not looking up anything respectfully.
I agree with you.
Hold on 1 second, Wayne. Ms. Van, I'm not looking up anything respectfully because I research all my stories, and it's not an old story. This was just put out today, March 25th, and the two neighbors are just now suing because they want him out. And I do believe that it is retaliation and that the association, probably because of who he is, they're letting him get over. Just like, unfortunately, the people that were early on speaking about, Diddy or whatever, they got retaliated against, allegedly. So now these people are saying they did go to the association. They did try this. They did do that. Now he's saying it's a money grab and he's saying they're racist, but at the same time, you can say they're racist all you want, but they got you on the ring cam with no clothes on, and they got you more than once. Go ahead, Wayne.
I agree. I mean, outside the sleepwalking, whatever. I mean, if they just weren't good neighbors and just trashing the place and stuff like that, yeah, I'd want them out too. And if they're having podcasts so loud that I can hear it in my place, of course, I would want them out. I don't think it's retaliation. I think that's just like, hey, we live here too. Have some courtesy.
Yeah, and we're gonna move on. I'm gonna say this. Yeah, he could rent a studio, especially this guy. His friend said he's making money. He put me on. I got cars. I'm on a whole nother level. You really can't get no separate studio to do this podcast, so you won't be terrorizing your neighbors, or get you a freestanding house and then do this podcast in your basement. Now, this is what's interesting. I'm gonna share a screen real quick and show this picture. What's interesting, he at the ring cam, right? He's sleepwalking, but then this picture right here, he covered his thing. I don't know about all of this. But listen, I'm not the judge and the jury. This is just diva thoughts. Something about his story too, it ain't sitting well with me. And I don't think it's a kiki and a ha-ha that you on your podcast. Yeah, good night, Miss Beth. I watched his podcast. I don't know. It's messy. But listen, guys, chat with me in the comments after the video's over. I go back and I still look. And if y'all didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.